Summit X is getting an upgrade. I'm putting the Vasa design IceAge skid and track on it. There's all my track pieces drilled out. And first of all, let's talk about why I drill my track pieces out and what I use for pins. I use 14 gauge galvanized utility wire. It's electric fence wire. And this measures 79 thousandths of an inch. The drill I'm using measures 86 thou, so it's a number 44 drill. I had to order these off eBay for the extra length so that it could reach all the way through these track pieces. But the fit this gives me when I drill them out, it's a nice fit, very smooth fit. Actually just a little snug. I think when you drill the plastic with the 86 thou drill bit, it actually shrinks a little bit around it. So this is 79 thou. There's probably only a couple thou clearance on these pins, these track pieces. So that means you have to straighten the wire out, and then using dikes, you have to cut all your pins to length. With finishing nails, you buy the right length, you don't have to do that. But what I don't like about the finishing nails, and especially the ones that come in as strips for the automatic guns, is they're square. They have corners on them, and I don't believe that will run as smooth in the track pieces. Also, there's more play in those. You won't get this fit with finishing nails as you will with the round fence wire and drilling them to size. Here are all the printed parts for Vasa's IceAge skid upgrade. Track pieces, skids, sprocket, the idler wheels, the carrier wheels, and the tension axle. I printed 36 track pieces for the 165-inch track. That's what this is. I have the 154 on my free ride, and it takes 34 pieces. We'll see how that works out. Here's a couple things to point out about Vasa's IceAge skid upgrade. Not only does it locate the idler wheels in a scale position on the inside of the skids, but the skid is beefier. So it's deeper right here. It's got more mass right in here. And these skids, the Build It Better ski ride skids, I've doubled this thickness. Kept it the same thickness going back to the idler wheel, but I've doubled the thickness on these skids. So Vasa's IceAge skid is that thickness plus more depth and more beef in that area. These skids are the 165-inch split files for the 220 millimeter build plate. So I already have them glued together and also have the sliders glued on. Here's another thing to note. Vasa just released a version 2 sprocket. So I had printed the version 1. If you look at the profile of the teeth, these are thinner and straight. So he's got a new profile on the teeth of the sprocket. So be sure to print the version 2 sprocket. Also, I print all my sprockets in TPU. I believe on some pieces, TPU is stronger than PLA in the cold. Also runs a little quieter. Here's what you get with drilled holes and round pins. Smooth track. So what I find is easier to do is to put the track together in 2 half sections, and it's a little bit easier to handle when you're melting the tabs down. So should be every other, a double and a single track. Make sure you have that right, including when you join the 2 halves together. Try this with your track if you're using finishing nails and you don't have the fits like I have these pins and drilled holes. How much flex over the full length of the track. So that'll make a track run better as far as less likely to jump off. So first we have to loosen the tension on the belt. Just get a little tension off of that. Loosen the set screws on the sprocket. Then I have to take the track off and get the screws out of the sprocket. Here's a little trick for you to get pins out of an assembled track if you're not doing this already. Heat up your tab, open it up. Couple quick strikes on the side of the track. Pin walks itself right on up. There's the track out of the sled. I should be able to just push this shaft out now. This sprocket is wider, so we'll have to drill new holes in the shaft. Since the idler wheels at the back of the skids are on the inside, this front sprocket's narrower. So I'll probably rotate this 90 degrees, drill 2 holes right there. To mark these holes where to drill them in the shaft, I assembled this, tightened down the set screws on this pulley, and then by hand I went through with a drill through this TPU sprocket, made 2 witness marks where to drill these holes. And I took it out to my milling machine and drilled them, because this is some really tough stainless to drill. So I'm not worried about the strength of this shaft with those extra holes in it. Also note there are directional arrows around the sprocket. The teeth are not symmetrical, so the arrows on the bottom of the sprocket should be pointing towards the back of the sled. For the skid, I'm swapping out the left and right side 1 for 1. All the hardware back to here is the same. So I have the IceAge skid on this side, still the Build It Better skid on that side. I've swapped out the tension axle and I've taken the idler wheels off. So these idler wheels will go on the inside because this tension axle is narrower. So now I have to take the skid off on this side, put the other skid on. There's the IceAge skid completely built. Everything swapped out, all the hardware, all the screws, the outer and inner spacers on the carrier wheels, all the bearings, carrier wheels and idler wheels. The only thing that was different was these 2 screws here. They were 30 millimeter long with the idler wheels being on the outside, so I used 25 millimeter. Skid is in. Got to get these 2 covers on, and then the track. Okay, it's going to take 1 more track piece. That'd be 37 track pieces for the 165-inch track. I have the tension axle all the way forward. 1 more piece fits in there perfectly. That also means I'll have the full range of adjustment to tighten the track as it breaks in. Get it just right. Not so much where you melt it, but where it'll lay down flat. That's good. Ooh, a puff of smoke. About right there. Just a little bit of sag. Also check that it rotates freely. And then snug down the axles. And that's a wrap on the IceAge skid.